What's a rule that was implemented somewhere that massively backfired? At my old job, some people abused lunch, so they made a few of them texting when they started and finished lunch. One guy specifically would text the start time, place he got food, his order in detail, the address, price, etc. Even when he bought a snack while out. That stopped a week later. Popcorn, 1 PC, sent 11:52 am. 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 Malicious compliance. Worked for a marketing firm that often locked you out of the building if you weren't back in your cubicle by the second your break was up. They revoked your break the next day as punishment. This is not legal here in New York State. They got into a lot of trouble. I once saw a true crime show that was about a kidnapping turned murder case. Two guys had abducted another guy for his car, I think, and had him in the trunk. The perps started talking, and one of them said, "You know, if we get caught, the sentence of kidnapping is the same as murder. So, we might as well kill this guy. That way, we have less chance of getting caught." The chilling part was that the poor guy in the trunk probably heard every word, comma. When Domino's said all pizzas would be delivered in 30 minutes or less or your pizza was free, all the delivery drivers kept getting in car accidents to get your pizza to you on time, so it wouldn't come out of their paycheck. It was a short-lived venture. This was a thing in Mexico for years. They delivered in motorcycles, and if they didn't make it in less than 30 minutes they just wouldn't deliver the pizza at all and would sell it to whoever they could find on the street for half the price so they wouldn't lose too much money. This was before you could order with a credit card online. Middle school wanted to create a trash-free environment, so they removed the trash cans from the parking lots, halls, and cafeteria. Then just told the kids to toss your trash when you get home or in a classroom. The amount of litter skyrocketed overnight. After a week or so they brought back the cans. For the inverse of this policy, Walt Disney started to study the way people acted throughout the park and found that a trash can every 30 feet dramatically reduces littering. Edit. Damn. My first blow up comment. What shall I do with all of my newfound karma now? That's dumb as hell. What kind of dumbass idea was that? A salon I worked at one day decided to drug test the hairstylists. Out of 12 stylists, 11 failed. The manager texted everybody the next day and told them to come to work. I'm a stylist and I say this to applicants all the time: if they drug tested, there wouldn't be anyone working here. My boss specifically tells people that he doesn't care what you do in your free time. Just be sober at work. We've only had 2 guys get fired for drugs because they were popping painkillers at work. I had to take one of them to get drug tested one day and he jumped out of the fucking car while it was moving. A hotel I used to work for decided they were having an alcohol-free holiday party. This didn't sit well with the people who'd been working there for years and were accustomed to a full bar at the party. The staff parking lot ended up being full of people drinking in their cars trying to get a good buzz to carry them through the party, and most people ended up getting way drunker than they would have, so the party was a shit show. Friend had a non-alcohol wedding. Nearly everyone took ecstasy instead, complete opposite of the sober event the parents wanted. You have to eat whatever you touch was a rule in my kindergarten, which led to all the children touching all the food to call dibs on it. Does that also apply to like glue and shit? Oh god. Or the other children? Washington state made it mandatory for schools to drop their room temperatures to save on electricity. The result, teachers brought their own heaters into their offices and use of electricity increased. Not a law by my school does this, and have made it clear it costs $1,000/day to heat our building. They drop the temp and amp. It can be 50 degrees F in the morning in my classroom. Everyone has space heaters, which are illegal, fire code, admin and amp. Maintenance freak out over it, but refuse to turn up the heat as they sit in their separately heated offices at a comfortable temp. That makes so much sense. I was in high school 2010 to 2014 and every room I walked into I tried to turn the heat up. They had some weird lock on the thermostat. Heater wouldn't even turn on unless there was movement detected in the room. Had to wear gloves in first period every day of winter. Can get below freezing here. Not exactly a rule, but just last week my job thought it was a good idea to take away our electric cart pusher machine BC. They felt that we didn't need it. The very next day, the place was absolutely packed and we couldn't get carts in fast enough. Turning off notifications. Jesus Christ on a cracker, so many carts. Public supermarkets had a rule when I worked there of maximum 5, maybe 4 carts at one time. To hell with that. We didn't even have cart returns, so it was hunting season for carts every trip. Last summer in Sweden, bus drivers in some counties started wearing shorts due to the heat wave. After being denied to continue doing so by management, they started wearing skirts instead. Dress code policies banned shorts, but not skirts. This happens a lot every summer in UK schools. Boys turn up in shorts, get told to go home because it's not allowed, so groups of them go in skirts because there isn't a rule about those. Normally gets printed in the local paper and sometimes picked up by bigger outlets. Gets the school some bad publicity and they usually change the rules to allow shorts. My institute banned porn sites in its Wi-Fi. Most people weren't tech savvy enough or bold enough to ask how to bypass it. Then the institute banned Facebook. Everyone learnt using proxy in matter of days. Let's just say the servers were under heavy pressure then onwards. My school has done that. I savored the first few days after they banned games porn sites when everyone thought I was a master hacker by bypassing it using a VPN. They have blocked Instagram, Facebook, Twitter etc. at my work. Only issue is we're a software development firm, so we all know what a VPN is and how to use it. Edit. Thank you for the silvers. Kind strangers. : The military used to have a 2-beer lunch rule. They never specified the size of the beers. Walmart used to have a similar rule. 1 drink on lunch with no specification what a drink consisted of. 1 beer, 1 shot, 1 bottle. Das Boot filled with Hennessy. My dad served in Europe during the Cold War and he said the only phrase he learned in multiple languages was 2 beers, please. Yesterday in Kenya, our governor in Nairobi banned public transport from getting to town, so people had to walk long distances to work. And since we don't have enough pavements, people ended up walking on the roads, like 3,000, and there was a traffic jam that lasted for more than 5 hours. The next day the ban was removed. People walking on the highway. What was the goal of banning public transport? Easiest way to fix things is to inconvenience people with money and power. The next day the ban was removed. I'm glad they saw sense, at least. A famous example from Freakonomics was when a daycare started charging a small fine for parents who picked up their children late, instead of resulting in more on-time arrivals. The new policy actually caused more late pickups. This is because the parents were originally worried that a late pickup would be a significant burden on the daycare employees. But because the fine was so small, only a few dollars, they decided that it must not be a big inconvenience for the daycare. I really like this one because, unlike many of the other examples in this thread, the outcome was totally unexpected. Increasing the cost of being late caused more people to be late? That seems to contradict basic laws of economics. But, of course, the twist being that guilt is a really powerful motivator that disappears if you allow people to pay to no longer feel guilty. I remember they had another one. The petrified forest had a problem taking the petrified wood home. So they did an experiment in how to word the sign. If the sign asked people not to take any because it'll all disappear, more people ended up taking pieces. They figured that if it'll disappear, they should take some. http://freakonomics.com/03/07/2012/how-petrified-wood-guilty-conscience/ At one point in history, the president of Paraguay tried to eliminate racism by making it illegal to marry someone within your own ethnic group. Needless to say, this was quite racist. My company eventually blocked all the well-known music streaming sites. Google Play Music, Amazon Music, Spotify, iHeartMusic, etc. However, they didn't block YouTube. So instead of the network having a bunch of employees streaming about 15 millibars per song of music, only now the same employees stream the same songs but with video on YouTube, which can be 10 times as much, give or take. Head teacher at the school I worked at made it a rule that the primary age kids, 5'11", weren't allowed to run when they were out in the playground. That was fun to try and enforce. Let's not allow young children to run on the playground during their recess at school. Awat Koljerong. Damn kids, what are they trying to do? Have fun or something? Why are the kids getting fat? The infamous housing project Pruitt-Igoe had a policy of supplying housing to single mothers. However, if they stopped being single, they would lose their tenancy to their homes. This meant that fathers or stepfathers of children in these poor homes had to stay away. Pruitt-Igoe is a legendary social disaster and it was demolished after 20 years.